Shalom. We'll get started by facing the east. Let's give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Wakakudash. All right, that is giving all praises to the Most High, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh, the name of his only begotten Son, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shah, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Wakakudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, by the Holy Spirit who taught us his truth. Honors to the brothers, making their bodies a living sacrifice to push the gospel. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, which would be so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, which would be the lost 12 tribes of Israel, according to scripture and according to prophecy. But the hopeful elect being 1/3 of those people who are going to repent, return back to the Most High, and receive salvation. While the others be destroyed and judged. Hey, my bad if the picture kind of off the phone, kind of tripping. But we back with another blessing through the mercy of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah. All right, and Shalom to daughter Yahweh, and you know whoever else tuning in. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah Barakadan. Hey, this is gonna be Psalms of Prophecy, number 35. And the Psalms is all prophecy. And everything that's going on now, it can be found in the scriptures, including the book of Psalms. So David wasn't just writing poetry. David was a prophet, therefore he was writing prophecy. But we're gonna wrap up Psalms the 35th chapter in this lesson today, Lord willing. What am I looking for? Okay, so we have Psalms chapter 35. We're going to give verses 19 and 20. Let not them that are my enemies wrongfully rejoice over me, neither let them wink with the eye that hate me without cause. For they speak not peace, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land. So we're going to start with breaking down verse 19. So David said, let not my enemies rejoice over me. You know, let not them that hate me without cause rejoice over me. Because when David is speaking, you know, speaking about his enemies. But not just the enemies of David, these would be the enemies of Israel. Because if they're enemy to David, they're enemy to Israel. So he's speaking on the behalf of Israel. Not only that, this not talking about David's enemies back in the ancient world. Let's talk about the enemies of David today, which would be the other nations. All the other nations, including 2/3 of our people. Because I'm going to go here real quick. What did the Lord say in the book of Amos, I think chapter 9, verse 10, verse 11? In that day would I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it in the days of old. So this is not a physical tabernacle, but a spiritual one. So he's going to raise up the spiritual house of David, which will be the believers, including David himself. So what? In the last days, you know, David, the house of David, will be here in the earth. And what did he say? Let not my enemies wrongfully rejoice over me. Let not them that wink with the eye that hate me without cause. So David had enemies back then, and David, as well as the house of David and the enemies of Israel, they are back on the scene today. Because there's nothing new under the sun. So, you know, David might have been right in speaking about his enemies back then, but this very well applies to the enemies of the house of David today. And you know, that's pretty much the prayer of the elect. Lord, let not our enemies rejoice over us. So David not speaking for himself, but on the behalf of his people, being the house of David. Let me read that again. Let not them that are my enemies wrongfully rejoice over me, neither let them wink with the eye that hate me without cause. So yeah, this also tells you, you know, you As an Israelite, we have enemies. But we gonna go here to the book of Psalms chapter 139. I think we're gonna start at verse 19 to show, hey, that we have enemies, not only back then, but today. So we're gonna start at verse 19. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O Lord. Depart from me, therefore, you bloody men. For they speak against thee wickedly, and thine enemies take thy name in vain. So even the Lord got enemies. And it goes on to say, do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee. And am I not grieved with those that rise up against thee? And so David here says, Lord, I hate them that hate you. I hate them that rise up against you. I hate them that oppose you. And how do you rise up against the Most High? How do you oppose the Lord? By rising up against his people. Which Esau, Edom, the white man, he's the main one guilty of that. How else do you rise up against the Most High or oppose the Most High? You trying to offset prophecy, because that's what Esau are doing. The Lord got judgments written for the nations, but Esau trying to offset prophecy. He's trying to prevent prophecy from coming to pass. But again, Psalms 139 and 21, do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee, and am I not grieved with those that rise up against thee? So pretty much, if you despise the word, you an enemy of the Most High. Because everybody claims to love the Lord until the scriptures come out. And not only that, the Lord that they love is a so-called white man. So verse 22, I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. So when David said, back to Psalms 35 and 19, let not them that are my enemies wrongfully rejoice over me. Our enemies would be those that hate the Lord. Those who are not for his people. And then to continue from there, we're going to go to the book of Psalms chapter 2. I think we're going to get verses 1 and 2. Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Verse 2. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Most High and against his anointed. So the heathen rulers of the earth, the heathen kings of the earth, they gather themselves together and take counsel against the Lord. But what did David say in Psalms 139 and 21? Lord, do I not hate them that rise up against thee? But here we just read that the heathen nations, the heathen rulers of the earth, they take counsel against the Lord. In other words, they in opposition to the Most High. So those will be our enemies. If you are enemy of the Lord, you are enemies as well. Because we his people, and vice versa. And then you can read about those heathen nations that take counsel against the Lord and counsel against his anointed in Psalms 83, which I always go to, but we just bring it out real quick. This is Psalms 83, start at verse 1. And this is a psalm of Asaph. In other words, a prophecy of Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O Lord. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Lord. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. See, it said, Lord, thine enemies, in other words, your enemies, the enemies of the Most High. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. And what David said, do I not hate them that rise up against thee? So them lifting up the head, that's them rising up. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And what do we get Psalms 2 and 2? That the heathen rulers of the earth take counsel against the Lord and against his anointed. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, and consulted against thy hidden ones, that's the anointed. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. which they've done, but by the Holy Spirit, we came back to remembering ourselves here in the lands of our captivity. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Hold on. It goes on to say the tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites, Moab, Hagarenes, Jabal, Ammon, Amalek, the Philistines, inhabitants of Tyr, Asur, the children of Lot, the Midianites. So it started listing all the nations. But you can also include 2/3 of our people in that crafty council too, of cutting off Israel. Because the 2/3 of our people, all that they doing is furthering Esau's agenda. They not for the Lord. And the Lord said, he who is not with me is against me. So moving on, again, back to Psalms 35, verse 19. It said, let them that are my enemies, which be the other nations, and 2/3 of our people, let not them that are my enemies wrongfully rejoice over me. Because who do they rejoice at? They rejoice at the downfall of the saints. Which, Israel, going back in the ancient world, hey, they always rejoiced at the downfall of the saints, including the other nations. Neither let them wink with the eye that hate me without cause. But we gonna show, that the nations always rejoice over our fall. So now we're gonna go to the book of Obadiah. We're gonna get chapter 1, verse 12. And Obadiah, this is prophecy against Edom, the so-called white man. So that showed that these other nations always rejoiced over us. So Obadiah 1 and 12. But thou, hold on. You can start at verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. What's that violence? In trying to cut off Israel. And thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem. Even thou was as one of them. So when the Babylonians and the other nations, destroyed Jerusalem and took us captive, Esau was right along with them, cheering them on. He was part of the spoilers that was spoiling Jerusalem. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother. Oh, about to knock that thing out. But thou shouldest not have looked on the other day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. So what? They shouldn't have, looked as we was being destroyed. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress, because they was cheering on the Babylonians like a bunch of cheerleaders. And then I'm not going to read on, but those of our people who would try to escape or try to flee, Esau was killing them. He was selling them into slavery. He was taking our wealth, our possessions. So Esau has always rejoiced over the destruction of Israel. But let me see if I can find this other account real quick, because it ain't just Esau. The other nations, they've always rejoiced over the downfall of Israel too. Let me see. It's in the book of Daniel. I'm gonna just see if I can find it real quick. Pretty much Nebuchadnezzar, he was bragging about how he took all of the golden vessels out the temple in Jerusalem. And then shortly after that, um, he had a dream that Daniel had to interpret. And pretty much, he was boasting against how he spoiled Israel. And the Lord humbled him. He lost his kingdom and he was outside with the animals. The Lord turned him into a beast. But just showing that ranging from, Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonians, ancient Babylonians, to Esau, Edom, the nations always rejoice over the destruction of Israel. Now, as we continue, we're going to move on to verse 20. For they speak not peace, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land. So verse 20, it said, for they speak not peace. What's the opposite of peace? It's war. So again, they speak not peace. So now we're going to go to the book of Psalms chapter 55, verse 21. Because if you're not speaking peace, then you're speaking war. And when it's concerning Israel, the Lord's people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, when the other nations discuss you or talk about you, it's always for war and not for peace. Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. See that? So even when these other nations speak to you or speaking concerning you, and it don't seem like a bad conversation, war is in their heart. But what does it say about his words? They were softer than oil, but his words are drawn swords. So yeah, it compared his words, it compared his words to swords. And the sword is an instrument of war. So when the other nations, discuss us, the topic is always concerning war. How they gonna come up against us to cut us off, how they gonna destroy us. And at our downfall, they always rejoice. So as we continue, we're gonna go to the book of Psalms chapter 140. We're gonna get verse 2. Start at verse 1. Deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man. Who's the violent man? The man who has war in his heart. The man whose words are likened unto drawn swords. The man whose blessing is a sword. Esau, Edom, so-called white man. That's the violent man. Revelation 6 and 4, he who is given power to take peace from the earth. And since he's been in power, it's been world wars and nothing but war and destruction all over the earth. Verse 2, which imagine mischiefs in their heart. Continually, they are gathered together for war. So that's the only thing they do when they get together. Who they gonna cut off next? Who they gonna destroy next? And going on to verse 3, they have sharpened their tongues like a serpent's adders. Poison is under their lips. So yeah, it said they sharpened their tongues. As you would sharpen the sword. So they always coming up with new, more deadlier, deceitful, mischievous ways to cut off Israel and to take peace from the earth. So, continuing on, back to Psalms 35 and 20. Again, oh dang, I done turned the page. Again, Psalms 35 and 20, for they speak not peace, because they speak war. Wars in their heart. Their words are like drawn swords. But it says, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land. So who are they that's quiet in the land? That would be concerning Jacob, the 12 tribes, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. So let's show that is us that's quiet in the land. So let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 25. We're going to get verse 27. And the boys grew. Esau was a cunning hunter. That's the violent man, a man of the field. But check this out about Jacob. Jacob was the plain man dwelling in his tents. But let's read this in the NLT that show that we are they that's quiet in the land. What does Psalm 35 and 20 say? They devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land. Genesis 25 and 27 in the NLT. As the boys grew up, Esau became a skillful hunter. He was an outdoorsman. But Jacob had a quiet temperament, preferring to stay at home. So what that really is going into is deeper than that. But it said Jacob had a quiet temperament and preferred to stay at home. But back to Psalms 35 and 20, where they speak not peace, meaning they speak war. They continually gather together for war, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land. That quiet in the land, or the quiet temperament, in the NLT of Genesis 25:27, that's concerning Jacob. And what it say about Jacob? They always devise deceitful matters against them. That's why in 2021, for the hokey pokey, they said so-called blacks and Hispanic communities got to get the hokey pokey first. So they was targeting us with their poison. What you think they're gonna do with the RFID microchip? So-called blacks and Hispanic communities got to get the microchip first. And they'll probably give us a cash reward for doing so. But yeah, that's part of that crafty counsel and cutting off Israel. Cause see, I ain't gonna say what I want to say. Hey, but Esau is a coward. He can't come up to you heads up and straight up. He gotta come up to you smiling, talking softly, shaking your hand. But what? War is in his heart. And what the book of Sirach say, never trust thine enemy. So, continuing on, we going to now move on to Psalms 35, verse 21 through 22. Ayin Shalom to the brother Yahweh, the brother Kabag Shana, and Shalom to my brother Shamgar. Yahweh Ba'ashim outside Baraka down to y'all. Hey, I pray y'all, staying strong, enduring. Pray everybody having a blessed day. Hey, Psalms 35, 21 and 22. Yeah, they opened their mouth wide against me and said, aha, aha, or I have seen it. This thou hast seen, O Lord, keep not silence. O Lord, be not far from me. So, again, verse 21, they opened their mouth wide against me and said, aha, aha, or I have seen it. And then what did we get yesterday? Going into verse 11 of Psalms 35. False witnesses did rise up. They laid to my charge things that I knew not. So back to Psalms 35 and 21, they say, aha, aha, or I have seen it. These false witnesses, these accusers, they're going to be throwing all kind of charges at us. They're going to be accusing us of crimes that we're not guilty of. But they're going to say, I have seen it. They're going to say, we got you on camera. And with their deep fakes, artificial intelligence, and video editing, there's no telling what kind of stuff they're going to accuse us of. But again, they opened their mouth wide against me and said, aha, aha, or I have seen it. This thou hast seen, O Lord, keep not silence. O Lord, be not far from me. And so the Lord see all the slandering and the accusations that's coming at us. But when we come to the book of Psalms chapter 50, I think it's verse 20. We're going to start at verse 19. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frame of deceit. What's a deceit? It's a lie. That's all they do. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. So who is this concerning? Jacob and Esau, the two main characters. Thou slanderest thy own mother's son. So what? They slander us day and night. And that's part of that crafty counsel in cutting off Israel to what? To turn all nations against us so that all nations will hate us, which they do. 21, these things thou hast done, and I kept silence. So, the Lord been watching patiently, long-suffering, letting all of this stuff go on. And I kept silence. Why did the Lord keep silence? And he was letting it go on. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself. So because the Lord has been keeping silent and letting Esau do what he do, Esau thought that the Lord was with him. But what does 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, I think verse 8 say? Let me jump there real quick. Second Thessalonians 2 and 8. Two and 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. And that mystery of iniquity, or the man of sin that would be revealed, is Esau Edom. He been at work for a long time. And he been at work way before you found out about him. Only he who now letteth will let. So the Lord is letting the wicked, Esau Edom, the white man, do what he do until he be taken out of the way. Hey, so the Lord's going to keep silence, hey, until it's time to bring judgment. So back to Psalms 50 and 21. I'm going to start at verse 20 again. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thy own mother's son. And slander, by definition, is pretty much to give an evil report. You know, to destroy somebody's character. It said, these things thou hast done, and I kept silence. Why did the Lord keep silence? The Lord going to let him do what he do until he be moved out of the way, until he be overthrown. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself, but I will reprove thee. Meaning what? The Lord going to judge him. And set them in order before thine eyes. And what? We've been set in order right now. And then, I think it's the book of Sirach. What are we being set in order for? We've been set in order for rulership. So, come into the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10, verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people. Who's that wise judge? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Who his people? Israel. We've been set in order right in these people's faces. And the government of a prudent man is well ordered. So the Lord is setting us in order because he about to give us the kingdom. But back to Psalms 35, verse 21. Yeah, they opened their mouth wide against me to slander us. They said, aha, aha, or I have seen it. So that's some false witnesses. This thou hast seen, O Lord, keep not silence. And why is David saying, Lord, keep not silence? Because the Lord just said, you know, I kept silence. And because the Lord kept silence, Esau thought that the Lord was with him, that the Lord was for him. Actually, the Lord is against him. The Lord is said Esau and the wicked, including the 2/3 of our people, stack up all their charges. Then they're going to be judged for all of it. This thou hast seen, O Lord, keep not silence. O Lord, be not far from me. So, as we continue on, we're going to get the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 15, verse 18. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. So what does it mean when it say the Lord will hold his tongue no more? That don't mean the Lord don't start talking and reasoning with you. No, that means the Lord about to start judgment. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. That's the Lord keeping our silence. Which they profanely commit, neither would I suffer them in those things which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent in the righteous blood crieth unto me. The souls of the just complain continually. And just because you complain, that don't mean you just. It said the souls of the just complain to me, to the Most High. So what, you know, 2/3 of our people, they complaining to their boyfriend Esau. They complaining to their governor, their president. We bypassing all of that and we taking our complaints to the Most High himself. So moving on, we're going to get Psalms 35, verse 23 through 24. Stir up thyself and awake to my judgment, even unto my cause, my God and my Lord. Judge me, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, my God, according to thy righteousness, and let them not rejoice over me. We're going to get that in the NLT as well. Psalms 35:23 in the NLT. So when it says, stir up thyself and awake to my judgment, even unto my cause, my God and my Lord. NLT reads, wake up, rise to my defense, take up my case, my God and my Lord. So something we're going to get real quick. In the KJV, it says, again, awake to my judgment, even to my cause. So my cause, I'm about to look this up in Hebrew. Unto my cause, it says a strife, a controversy. And we what? We know the Lord got a controversy with the nations. Go there real quick. This is Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 30. We're going to show the Lord got a controversy or a case with the nations, against the nations. Where is it? Controversy against the nations. There we go. Jeremiah 25:31. A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth. For the Lord have a controversy with the nations, including 2/3 of his people Israel. I think when you read Hosea chapter 4, verse 1, he will plead with all flesh. Meaning what? He will judge all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, saith the Lord. So what? The Lord got a controversy with the nations. So back to Psalms 23, Psalms 35:23, when David says, stir up thyself and awake to my judgment, even unto my cause. Well, as we go back to that word, my cause, it says a controversy, a dispute. It says a case at law. And what did we just get in 2 Ezra 15:8? The Lord will hold his tongue no more, touching their wickedness. That what the souls of the just complain continually. So we take our case before the Lord, the judge himself. That's who we take our complaints to. And again, what did David say? Stir up thyself and awake to my judgments, even unto my cause, my God and my Lord. So David is asking the Lord, to take judgment for the case that we bring before him, on the behalf of our people Israel. Now, another word, we're going to go to the book of Psalms chapter 7, verse 6. And because David was asking the Lord to arise in judgment. But that's not just back then. Let's talk about now. Because David back today, some people agree that he's in the spirit world. Some people agree that he's here in the earth. It would make sense that he's here in the earth. And since the Lord is raising a house of David, how's going to be a house of David with no David? But this is Psalm 76. Arise, O Lord, in thine anger. Lift up thyself because of the rage of my enemies, and awake for me to the judgment that thou hast commanded. So David here is asking the Lord, Lord, please wake up for my sake for the judgment that you have commanded. And what's the judgment that the Lord commanded? The judgment that's written. And I guess we can show that real quick. Psalms 145. And really, David is asking the Lord, not just David, the whole house of David, the servants, the prophets, as well as the believers. We asking Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai to arise in judgment, to execute, vengeance upon the wicked. This is Psalms 145 and 9. Or is it 149? I'm tripping. Psalms 149 and 9. To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor hath all his saints, praise ye the Lord. So back to Psalm 76, David said, arise in anger. Lift up thyself because of the rage of my enemies. Lord, get up because, of our enemies, what they do to us. And awake for me to the judgment that thou hast commanded. For the sake of your people Israel, beginning with the elect. Please begin judgment, the judgment written. Because the Lord got judgment written for all of the nations. including Israel. And then when we get verse 8, the Lord shall judge the people. And so the Lord gonna judge all people, including the righteous. The Lord shall judge the people. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness and according to my integrity that is in me. So we asking the Lord to judge us according to our righteousness and according to our integrity. Because what did we get in verse 6? Arise, O Lord, in thine anger. So the other nations, everybody outside of the elect, the Lord gonna judge them in his wrath, in his anger. But we asking for the Lord to judge us in our righteousness and integrity. But I'm gonna hit this also in the book of Psalm 7 and 8. So when David says, judge me, you know, being judged is not always a bad thing. A judgment is just a reward. What the Lord say, he cometh quickly and his reward is with him to give every man according to his works. So judge me, to judge, to govern, to vindicate, to punish. So let's look up this word vindicate. Vindicate, a simple definition, it means to clear someone of blame or suspicion. And then what did it say in Revelation, I believe, chapter 14, that we're gonna be found blameless before the throne. So we asking the Lord to judge us, but to vindicate us. You know, in the elect, they're gonna be vindicated, meaning they're gonna be found blameless. In other words, we're gonna be found not guilty before the throne. That's our prayer. You know, if we judge for our righteousness and for our integrity. But the other nations, their judgment gonna be in the sense of being condemned, being punished. So, again, the Lord gonna judge the people, but in his anger, but, you know, Lord willing, and we be judged for our righteousness, meaning vindicated. Meaning what? And the Lord is gonna forgive us. And that's why the scripture say, hey, blessed is he whose sins are forgiven. So let me see what's going on here. So now we're gonna go to the book of Psalms 35 and 25. Let me see. But again, I'm gonna get this last point in 23, 24. We're gonna take that into 25. Stir up thyself, meaning arise and awake to my judgment, even unto my cause, my God and my Lord. You know, so for our sake, for the sake of your elect, you know, arise in judgment. Again, judgment. Judge me, O Lord, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh my God, according to thy righteousness, let them not rejoice over me. So what? Let us be judged of righteousness, able for them. Hey, punish them. You know, don't let them destroy us so that they rejoice over us. Verse 25. Let not them say in their hearts, so will we have it. Let them not say, we have swallowed him up. I'm gonna read that again, then we also gonna get it in the NLT. Psalms 35 and 25. Let not them say in their hearts, so will we have it. So would they have it, they will destroy us and cut us off. Let them not say, we have swallowed him up. In other words, to cut us off. In the NLT, it reads, don't let them say, look, we got what we wanted. Because what do the nations want? To cut off Israel. Now we will eat him alive. And what have the nations done? They have eaten us alive. As a matter of fact, let me go here real quick. I think it's Jeremiah 50. Somewhere in Jeremiah 50. Is it 7? Yep. Jeremiah 50 and 7. And we're gonna say that we're gonna show that the nations, they have eaten our people alive. But that's not literally. Jeremiah 50 and 7. Hold on. Start at verse 6. My people Israel have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. And what's the resting place? You know, Jerusalem, our homeland. But this word, all that found them have devoured them. And the adversary said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord, the habitation of justice, even the Lord, the hope of their fathers. So all the nations that found us, they devoured us. In other words, they swallowed us up, and they have eaten us alive. Now, I'm going in the Bible prophecy. So the Lord had a chosen people.
Yeah.
So-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians.
Yeah.
Those people in the land of Israel, the Jewish people, they're not the people. And I got a bunch of pictures showing that we was actually those people. So Mary, who the world calls Jesus, Moses, David, the holy angels, actually look like us because we the people. So pretty much, you familiar with the story of Moses in Egypt?
Yeah.
So there was a slavery, right?
So was Moses in slavery? Or
No,
people of Israel?
People of Israel, because you know Moses sort of grew up Egyptian, so
Yeah.
But as he got older, he chose to side with his people. But the Lord sent Moses to free his people from Egypt. So the Lord destroyed Egypt, which was their oppressors, to free his people. Pretty much the same story here in America. So the Lord is going to destroy America, which is called spiritual Egypt. That's why the pyramid on the back of the dollar is spiritual Egypt. And he's going to destroy this place to get us out of captivity. Because also in ancient Egypt, the scriptures tell you, let me ask you if you heard this.
Yeah.
You heard people say we've been in here 400 years?
Like the land of America? Or what?
You heard people say like so-called blacks been here about 400 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So in ancient Egypt, they was also there 400 years.
Yeah.
So that's why this is like spiritual Egypt. It's Egypt all over again. But pretty much how the Lord is going to destroy this place is going to be by fire, and it's going to be by nuclear missiles. You know, Christians tell you that the lake of fire underground. No, the lake of fire is America, because the scriptures tell you that the elements going to melt with fervent heat.
Yeah.
That's that nuclear fire. The Lord going to melt this place. Russia, China, North Korea, even Europe. You know, America's allies, they're going to shoot nuclear missiles over here because China, Russia, all these countries are at war.
Yeah.
And why they at war? Because America goes to their neighbors and cause conflict.
Yeah.
Ukraine used to be part of Russia. Why they at war? Why America over there anyway? Same with North Korea, South Korea. Same with China and Taiwan. All them countries, so all the countries gonna come to the conclusion, hey, we need to get rid of America. So America gonna become the lake of fire when the nuclear missiles get shot here. So that's pretty much a overview of what you're going into.
Yeah.
And then pretty much the kingdom of heaven, you know, salvation, Christian church tell you salvation is for everybody. No, salvation is only for his people Israel. Because
What about the Gentiles?
so the Gentiles that Paul was sent to, what he called it uncircumcised,
Yeah.
those would be Israelites that were scattered. Because when you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 1 through 14, the Lord tells his people, hey, for your obedience, these will be the blessings.
Yeah.
Verses 15 through 68, you should read that when you get home. Deuteronomy 28. So 15 through 68, he tells his people, this is going to be the curses for your disobedience. And one of those curses, when you read Deuteronomy 28:64, he said that his people Israel will be scattered from one end of the earth to the other. And how did that pay out? Well, in the past few hundred years, that paid out through the transatlantic slave trade. That scattered us from one end of the earth to the other. We didn't just come to America. You know, we came to North, Central, South America, and the indigenous Americans, they was taken to Europe. And then even in Africa, you had the sub-Saharan slave trade. So we didn't just come out west, they took us out east as well. So
Did you make all these?
yeah. I got computer skills.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, I didn't make these. I just found these and just printed them out.
Yeah.
You know, but these I made. But
Yeah, for sure. But you put all this together.
yeah. I'm gonna read you a couple things real quick because
What time is it? I gotta eat at Salvation Army at 5:30.
that's a bet. 5:09.
Oh, no, I got 2 minutes.
All right, bet. So even today, me and you would be considered those Gentiles or those lost sheep. You know, because Jeremiah 17:4, the Lord said that Israel would discontinue from their heritage. But let me read this for you. Hold on. Deuteronomy 28:64. The Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So his people Israel will be scattered, and then they will serve other gods. That played out through these different religions. Like Christianity that's taught in America don't line up with the scriptures. So that's like an idol, another god.
How do you feel about Elon Musk and Neuralink? You think Elon
That's the
Musk,
mark of the beast.
You think so?
I'll show you why. Let me grab this next one real quick.
Yeah.
So we got that the Lord will scatter his people when we come to the book of James, because you know Paul and Peter, they wrote letters, right?
Yeah.
And James wrote a letter too. Usually in the first chapter, in the first few verses, it'll tell you who the letter is addressed to. Paul might say to the saints in Corinth, to the church as such and such. But look how James addressed his letter. James is anybody of any nation who claimed to be a believer, who Paul, James, Peter was writing to, was the 12 tribes scattered abroad.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I'm gonna show you. I'll show you one more, because even when we come, I'm gonna move a little faster on the phone. When you come, I'm gonna come here real quick. You're gonna come to the book of Acts, chapter 1, verse 6. So I'm gonna just go straight to the point. So this is the disciples. They asking the Lord, who they call Jesus. They're about to ask him a question. It says this: when they were therefore come together, they asked him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? So they're asking the Lord, are you going to restore the kingdom to Israel? Not the kingdom to all people, not the kingdom to the other nations. But then when we come to Matthew, I think chapter 10, we're going to start at verse 6. Actually, we're going to start at verse 5. And these 12 who the world calls Jesus, people will be Yahushua, sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans, enter ye not. So the Lord commanded the 12, don't go to the Gentiles, but go rather to the lost house of Israel. And as you go, preach saying, Matthew 10:6.
Yeah, it says go not.
Yep. So go not into the way of the Gentiles, into the city, or into the city of the Samaritans, enter ye not, but go rather to the lost people of the house of Israel. As you go, preach saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So salvation. So the Lord not going to take people up to heaven. So the kingdom of heaven will be established here on earth. That's why the Lord's prayer, that will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So the kingdom of heaven is his righteousness established in the earth. And the kingdom of heaven is actually the kingdom of Israel.
You spent a lot of time on this, and you're.
Oh yeah.
You for sure have. I really. I want to.
Oh, we get here.
I know, but I gotta go to some Salvation Army, dog.
Yeah.
I might.
Oh, I don't know if you got a YouTube app on your phone.
I ain't got no phone. I ain't got nothing. I'm all the way.
I gotta give you this 60 seconds. I gotta give you this last one.
All right.
So that Neuralink brain chip,
Yeah.
That's the mark of the beast. Revelation 13:16, it says he calls of all, both small, great, rich, and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads. So they're gonna receive a mark, which is the microchip, in the right hand and in the foreheads, because they're gonna collapse the dollar. It's gonna be a digital currency that we're gonna have to pay with. This is gonna prove it right here. So check this out. Come on. This is a commercial going back from the 90s. Lord, what am I got it? My bad, bro. 60 more seconds. If anything, you gotta have that.
I really like Elon Musk.
He's a cool individual, you know. Speaking of, you know,
Now, hold on. I need to go get something to eat, though. I really do, because that line going to be calling me. So, yeah, that's a really interesting thing. With Neuralink is real interesting. The application of it absolutely goes south.
yeah, no, it's it.
I'll try. If I see you again, we'll top it up.
I'm usually here Mondays at 4.
Yeah.
So.
If I see you again.
Yeah. Okay, that's a bet.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Mondays at 4.
Yeah. I'll be around. You know what I'm saying? I'm homeless, so I'll be around.
All right, that's a bet, man.
Yeah.
That's a bet. My name Chris too.
What's up, Chris? I'm Josh.
All right, hey, that's a bet. That's a heavy name. All right, nice to meet you too. Where was I? Damn, I thought I had this on the phone. Let me see. All right, hey. Let me see where I was at. That's where we was at. Okay, so Psalms 35 and 25. I'm gonna just read that again to refresh my memory. Psalms 35 and 25 to refresh my memory. Let them not say in their hearts, so will we have it. How would they have it? Israel be no more remembrance. Let them not say we have swallowed him up. NLT, it says now we will eat him alive. And we got Jeremiah 50 and 7. All the nations have devoured us. That don't mean they literally eat us up. But Esau do be in them elite secret feasts and banquets where they be eating our people and drinking their blood. But we gonna show myself what this talking about. So I'm gonna get this phrase, swallow him up. I'm gonna see what come up in Hebrew. So it says generally to destroy. So when you swallow up something, eat something alive, in general, that's talking about destroying something. Now, how it be destroyed can range. It says to devour, to eat up, to spend up. Then when I look up this phrase, spend up, it pretty much goes into something being used up or exhausted. So swallowing something up, eating something alive, goes into misusing something, abusing something, or overly using it. But we're gonna show why they always, swallow us up. Because really, it's money involved in it. It's money involved. So we're gonna go to the book of Proverbs. Chapter 1, I think verse 12. Because again, David said, Lord, don't let them say we swallowed them up alive. Don't let them say that they eating us up. Proverbs 1 and 12, let us swallow them up alive as the grave. Swallow up in general means to destroy. As those that go into the pit, we shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in lot among us, let us all have one purse. What's the purse? That's the spoils. That's the money bag. So again, why would Esau swallow us up? And because there's money involved. And again, verse 13, it says, we will find all precious substance. So, them swallowing us up, how did that play? Them killing off all the buffalo concerning the Native Americans. Them taking all of our land, all of our wealth, all of our history, our identity. That's how they swallowed us up alive. Taking our lands. And even we, among the precious resources, gold, oil, land, earth, animals, the top resource is people. So ultimately, we the precious substance that they stole. Because with people, you get free labor. That's a resource that can reproduce itself, like livestock. So you get free labor. And how did Esau use us up? How did he swallow us up? Free labor, sex slaves. He experimented on us, did whatever he wanted to do to us. So, that's how they swallowed us up or destroyed us. And not just Esau eating the white man, but really also the other nations. And really also 2/3 of our people. Because I'm going to show an example real quick of them swallowing us up, eating us alive. We're going to come to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 33. The fruit of thy land. What? Meaning your resources that come from the land. All of thy labors, your hard work. Shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. So what? They ate up our labor. They ate up our wealth, our resources. They ate us up. They devoured. They swallowed us as a people. So again, the fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. So pretty much everything that we worked for, Esau reaped the benefits of it. That's some eating up our labor, eating up the fruit of our land, our wealth, our riches, our wealth, eating up our labor, eating us up as a people. Filling his own belly off our pain and suffering. And then when we come to the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 16, for as ye have drunk on my holy mountain, so shall all the nations drink continually. In the NLT, just as you swallow up my people on my holy mountain, so you and all the surrounding nations will swallow the punishment I pour out on you. So yeah, all the nations, including 2/3 of our people, greatly benefited off the affliction of Israel. So let me read this all the way through. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the nations drink continually. So shall all the heathen drink continually. As well as 2/3 of Israel. Yeah, they shall drink, they shall swallow down. And they shall be as though they had not been. NLT, it reads, yes, all you nations will drink and stagger and disappear from history. So what? We know Jeremiah 30, I think verse 16 and 17, the Lord gonna make an end of all nations. Meaning what? These nations, as a kingdom, as a power structure here in the earth, gonna be no more. Nations still gonna be around because they're gonna be our servants in the kingdom of heaven. But the nations, as having their own system of government, them having their own power structure, gonna be no more. But Esau Edom will disappear from history. Just gotta put that out there. And then, as we go to the book of 1 Maccabees, am I tripping? 1 Maccabees 2 and 10, it said this, what nation hath not had part in her kingdom? And God never spoils. Hey, so all of these nations, they got with the Lord's woman. Who's the Lord's woman? His people Israel. They done got everything they could from us. It say all nations. So moving on to Psalms 35 to 26. Let them be ashamed and brought to confusion together that rejoice at my hurt. Let them be clothed with shame and dishonor that magnify themselves against me. So, not just they magnify themselves against David, not only back then, but they magnify themselves against David and against the house of David today, which David, the house of David, and the enemies of Israel, we are back here in the earth to finish playing out this story. But what did David say? Let them be ashamed and confounded that rejoice at my hurt. So what? The nations, they're going to continue to try to hurt the Lord's people. They're going to continue to try to destroy us. But as we come to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, 2 verse 5. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 2. When they see it, they should be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. So what? As they try to hurt us, they're going to be confounded. Confounded literally means to be confused. Because what it say? They're going to be troubled with terrible fear and amazed. So as they try to hurt us and the Lord delivers us, they're going to be experiencing two opposite emotions at once. They're going to be troubled with terrible fear and amazed, meaning in awe at the same time. And that's concerning the actual deliverance when we beamed up into the chariots. But even before that, because the Lord said what? He's going to deliver us in 6 troubles. And in 7, ain't no harm ain't going to touch us. So we're going to be delivered from all of our troubles. And as we being delivered from each and every trouble, the wicked, the heathen nations, they're going to be confounded. They're going to be confused. They're going to be troubled with terrible fear and in awe and amazed at the same time. Verse 3, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometime in derision and of a proverb of reproach. So they thought us to be nothing.
Talking about God? Just curious.
We're talking about Bible prophecy, not so much as it's taught in the Christian church. We're talking about Bible prophecy.
I know what you're talking about then.
Oh, yeah.
Stay blessed, man.
I appreciate it. Take care. It says, we fools accounted his life for madness and his end to be without honor. Our end being without honor, meaning they thought we were going to die a shameful death. That they was going to just afflict us and oppress us and kill us off. And that was going to be the end of our story. But no, our end is going to be with honor. Why? Because ultimately, at the end of everything, when you read 1 Thessalonians 4, we're going to meet Yahweh Shai in the air. So what? That's our end being with honor. But what did David say? Let them be confounded and ashamed that rejoice at our hurt. Confounded literally means to be confused. Ashamed also means to be confused. But I like to throw this in there. To be ashamed, that really translates to death. So when David says let them be confounded and ashamed, it means let them be confused, confounded, but let them be ashamed. In other words, let them be put to death. So we're going to show why ashamed translates to death. So Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 18. We're going to go straight to the point. For at the just man be the son of the Most High, and we claim to be that. The Most High will help him and will deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death. But by his own saying, he shall be respected. But see, those that rejoice at our hurt, they're going to try to ultimately condemn us with a shameful death. So You got that word ashamed and death right next to each other. But instead of us being condemned to a shameful death, our end is going to be with honor. The Lord going to deliver us. Hey, even in death, the Lord can deliver us. So the nations, they want to condemn us to a shameful death. That's why they bring it back. Group executions, public executions, method of execution, hanging by rope, firing squad, and whatever else. But what the Lord say, Obadiah 1:15, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, those that devise our hurt. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. So what they say, let us condemn the Son of God with a shameful death. But what the Lord say in Obadiah, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. So what the Lord going to deliver us, but the Lord is going to condemn them to a shameful death. So Psalm 35:26, when it says, let them be ashamed and brought to confusion, and that's them being confounded, by the miracles of us being delivered. But them being ashamed, the Lord going to condemn them to a shameful death. So everything they imagine for us, it's going to be turned upon them. Everything they try to do to us, the Lord going to do it to them. And continuing on, if we can get Proverbs 11:23. Proverbs 11:23. It says this, the desire of the righteous is only good, but the expectation of the wicked is wrath. So that's all that's coming to those who rejoice at our hurt. Now moving on to Psalms chapter 35, 27 and 28. As we wrap up the lesson and wrap up Psalms 35. Let them shout for joy and be glad that favor my righteousness, that favor my righteous cause. Let them say continually, let the Lord be magnified. Let Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh be magnified, which have pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. And my tongue shall speak of thy righteousness and of thy praise all the day long. But starting with verse 27, it says, let them shout for joy and be glad that favor my righteous cause. So all of them that are for prophecy, that's the righteous cause. Everybody is not for that righteous cause, only the elect. Let them, meaning it's a multitude of people being the elect, let them say continually, let Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh be magnified. And the Lord, and our Lord and Savior Yahweh is being magnified right now amongst the elect. That's why when we come to Psalms chapter 34, verse 3, it says this, oh, magnify Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh with me. Let us exalt his name together. And so the elect, we exalt the names of the Lord together. That's what the Lord said. He had turned us to a pure language that we may call upon his name and serve him with one consent. Hey, the true God of the Bible ain't magnified or exalted nowhere else. Everybody else magnifying and exalting that so-called Jesus. Hey, but but this way we exalt the name of the Lord. So, back to Psalm 35:27. Let them shout for joy and be glad that favor my righteous cause. Yeah, let them say continually, let Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh be magnified. The Lord which have pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. So we're going to look up this word prosperity. Because the Lord have pleasure in the prosperity of his servant, which his servant will be Israel, the elect, the remnant in this lifetime. This word prosperity, it says completeness, soundness, welfare, peace, prosperity, quiet, tranquility, peace from war. Peace and covenant with the Most High. And that's ultimately going into the kingdom. You know, where we're going to enter into the second covenant with the Lord and have everlasting peace. Rest from our enemies. Rest from our troubles. That's in the kingdom. But how did it end off? Let the Lord be magnified, which hath pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. That word prosperity goes into a kingdom. Because you can't have completeness, soundness, tranquility, peace from war. You can't have that here in America or really anywhere in the world. So that's really going into the kingdom. And then when we come to the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 32, what did the Lord say? Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. What does Psalms 35:27 say? Let the Lord be magnified, which hath pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. So it's the Lord's good pleasure to give us a kingdom that we may have prosperity. Verse 28, my tongue shall speak of thy righteousness and of thy praise all the day long. So collectively, you know, David, who's back today with the whole house of David, we giving praises to the Most High, speaking of his righteousness all day long. Before I came out here to do the lesson, many brothers was already doing one. Many brothers doing a lesson right now. Many brothers could be doing a lesson after. Brothers on the other side of the world, and they're gonna be doing lessons all day as well. But this is the book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 34. Oh, give thanks unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, for he is good, his mercy endureth forever. That's not what I'm looking for. Well, yeah, his work endure forever. Declare works. That ain't right. This is what I'm looking for. 1 Chronicles 16 and 24. Declare his glory among the heathen, his marvelous works among all nations. And that's why we instructed to go out and to prophesy to all nations. We telling them about the marvelous works of the Lord. Marvelous works, how the Lord has woken us up to this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. How the Lord is gathering his people. How the Lord is going to destroy America. How the Lord is going to bring judgment on the nations, including 2/3 of Israel. How the Lord is going to give us the kingdom. That's the marvelous works of the Lord, the good and the bad. So declaring his works among the heathen, you know what I mean? You're trying to save the heathen. You're really just teaching them their judgments. Because we're not prophesying to the nations for their welfare. We're prophesying against them. And the only people we prophesy for their welfare would be the elect. That's why Paul said, I have suffered all things for the elect's sake. And this whole work, the work that the Lord is doing here in the earth and behind the scenes of the spiritual world, that's for the welfare and for the benefit of the elect, nobody else. And so that's the conclusion of Psalms chapter 35. And Shalom to my brother Yawanathan Bakar. Yahweh Ba'ashem outside Barakadah. And Barakadah, the water to everybody that tuned in and will tune in. Double honor to the elders and apostles. Taught us this truth by the Holy Spirit. Honor to the brothers, making their bodies a living sacrifice to push the gospel. Let's give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, B'Kakwadash. Till next time, Lord willing, Shalom.